Hey guys, it's Corey and welcome to After Hours. Tonight I've got a quick episode for you as we look at embellishing a heart applique block that I found at an antique store, and then also learning how we don't necessarily have to have templates to keep it continuous. In that heart applique block, we're going to be looking at our 4-inch heart and oval template, and then the keeping continuous, we're going to do this with a 9 patch, which is going to be super duper fun. But as always, before we get started, please make sure you're subscribed to our channel. It's going to be right down at that bottom right hand corner. After you click on that subscribe button, make sure you click on the little bell that shows up so you can stay notified with all of our things going on here at After Hours and at Corey's Cast. So let's head over to the machine and see what I'm working on. So I've got a very simple heart applique block here, and sometimes when I see this block, I don't really know exactly which direction to take it, and then sometimes that might happen to you as well. So I wanted to show you what you could do with your 4-inch heart and oval template. Now this is something that we sell on our website, lindas.com. It's available on its own, or it comes in the template starter kit, which I would highly recommend. So what this is going to do is this is going to have that inner heart, and then there's an oval on the outside that you can follow, but I want to focus on this heart. And I want to put it inside of our existing heart right here. And then we're just going to do some simple feather work around it. And then we're going to use one of our other templates to go around the outside to do something really cool as well. So what I want to do is I want to bring my machine over. And there's this little slit in the template right here. And that just slides right through your ruler foot. That way the template can be on the outside of the machine and your hopping foot can be on the inside of that template. So what we're going to do is kind of get this lined up as best we can, nice and straight. If you do have that template starter kit, there's also the 6x6 squaring up ruler. That's a great way to figure out if something needs to be straight and you can mark, so that's a really great way to put that. We're just going to kind of eyeball it today. So once we get that exactly where we want it, just like that, you're going to find a starting point. I would recommend probably starting at the bottom right here, and you're going to pull up your thread, pull up your bobbin. Now I'm using a powder blue on this. Maybe you should probably use a red, but I kind of wanted you to see it as best as you could. So we're just doing some tie-off stitches here. If your machine has the needle up and down feature where it can start and stop with the needle in the down position, I would turn that on, especially when you're working with templates. That way the machine doesn't move away from you when you stop. And with this template, what you're going to do is kind of create that L with your hand, and your pointer finger is going to hold on, and then your thumb will hold on to the other angle. And this is just going to help you steady it. Now remember, with templates, you don't want to push too hard, because it's going to hold it down on your ruler base and then the machine's not going to move easily. So just kind of get a nice light pressure so it doesn't get away from you, and then you can start up your machine and you're just moving along. Once the machine feels like it's getting too far away from you, pause it and then adjust that hand. You see how I just rotated my hand over? Now I've got basically my whole left hand on this template. And what that's going to then do is help me get around the edge. Remember, not a ton of pressure, just enough. Okay, machine feels like it's getting a little away from me, so now I can rotate my hand again to open that up. We're going to get to the point here. Now, one thing about this heart and oval template that I want to make sure you know is when you're coming around to that top point, try not to curve around the point. You'll naturally feel like your machine wants to curve around that top point. Come down to a physical point and kind of say point or even stop the machine. That way you can go back out and it's going to have that nice sharp point as opposed to a curved edge up there. Okay, so I've got it down to that point, so now I'm going to start traveling around. Now I'm coming to where it's going to hit my hand, so I want to pull my hand off, and now I'm going to switch hand. Now this is where I kind of have to be extra. I'm switching hands here. If you don't want to switch hands, just move your hand a little slower around, completely up to you. And bringing this in. Okay, got away from me a little bit, that's okay. And then we're going to end right there at that point, just like that. So it creates this cute little heart and heart that's right there for you to see. And then what we can do is kind of travel up and create some feather work around that. So What I'm going to do is just kind of feather off to the side, and then we will reverse those and meet together right here. Maybe I'll start with a little teardrop. So I'll start with a teardrop right there, and then we're going to do our feather work around it. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my thread. I'm going to come up to the top to do my feather work. I don't like to do my feathers backwards, so I'm going to come up here and do them. So we're going to start here in the center. Pull up our bobbin thread. So that heart template that we used gives us that nice base to follow, and then we're going to do those floating feathers around it. So I'm going to start this up. And end right there at the teardrop. Now, you could trim your threads and start back up at the top if you don't like to do your feathers backwards like me, or you can attempt to do them backwards. I'm just gonna trim and go back up to the top. It saves me time and it keeps me from getting frustrated. So we'll jump right back up here, pull up our threads, do a quick tie off, starting the needle in the down position, and then go the opposite way. Just like that. So using that inner heart template, we have that nice little base, and we have those feathers that come and meet it. You can of course come in and fill it in with whatever you would like, but I just like that little extra poof. So now let's move on to the 9 patch and see what we can do to keep it continuous. So this is one of my favorite blocks. This is a 9 patch. It's very simple, however, it can be really elegant, and you want to be able to quilt these out as continuous as possible. So I want to show you how to do that so you're not having to stop the machine and you can keep going. First thing that I always do, even though I've done it 1,000 times, is I do want to mark out the direction that I need to go, because sometimes when you start quilting, you can get kind of lost in what you're doing and you lose the direction that you need to go. So I'm going to use my disappearing ink marker that we have available on our website, and I'm going to mark the direction that I need to travel. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to give myself an arrow of where I need to go, which is down to this point, because I'm going to travel into this section of my 9 patch from this point. I'll have to find an exit over here, and then travel down and exit out of this piece right here. Okay, so that I can continue marking this. Again, this is disappearing ink, so in about 24 or 48 hours, this will disappear right off the fabric. So I'm giving myself my directions that I need to go to start at the top left and end at the bottom right. Now that I've got this marked out, I'm going to grab my machine, and for this design I wanted to keep it nice and simple with you, because I really wanted to show you the motions that you need to follow. So in the white we're going to be doing a fun ribbon candy. You know, it's probably one of my favorite designs for freehand. And then in the color we're going to be doing a continuous curve, so a nice arc. Now one thing about this, to keep it continuous, is we do have to have an overstitch back to the other one, so we really get to test our free motion skills when we do that. So we're going to start up here at the top, pull up our thread, do some single stitches to tie off. Now that we have that tied off, we'll throw our threads off to the side, and we're going to start with that ribbon candy. So I have the arrow that we need to stop down here. That doesn't mean we're going in this direction. We can still do a vertical ribbon candy. It's just when we come down on that last one, we need to end at this point. So we're going to start working our way down. We're nearing this end here, so we want to keep that in mind. Ending here into that point. Remember, staying continuous. So now what we're going to do is figure out the best form that we need to get to this point to continue traveling on. So if I went up this direction, I would have to travel back 2 of these to get back to this section. So it's really kind of figuring out which one works the best. At the end of the day, you're probably gonna have to end up doing 2, and that's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm gonna go this way. Point, 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 point. Ooh, I thought of something better actually, so we don't have to do that. So we don't have to do that continuous curve, you can curl right through the center of this and do a little curly Q and then curl your way out. Oh, that's even better, I like that. So we're gonna go into here, curly Q, and out to that point. So now we've got to where we need to exit, got a nice different design, and we didn't have to worry about any overstitching. Ooh, that was fun. We're gonna do it again, that was fun. Okay, so now we're up here doing that ribbon candy, making sure we're ending down here. Okay. Down there to that point. Now we move into our continuous curve, remembering we're coming out at this point here based on our arrows. Okay, we're gonna do that fun curly Q, so come into the center, curly Q in, curly Q out, and over to your traveling point. Now it's ribbon candy time. End right there. So we can tie off, trim our threads away, and then in just a moment I'll get the camera closer so y'all can see all the designs. But what's really cool about this is always remembering that you can change your design on the go, do whatever works easier for you, but finding that movement to keep it continuous is going to finish those blocks a whole lot faster. How much fun was that? I absolutely love being able to use simple templates like our heart and oval that's available at lyndas.com and follow the inside of it to create a beautiful heart and then embellish it on the outside with feathers. Not only was this super fun, but using that continuous quilting technique that you find when you find the right path through your block is going to help speed up your quilting and make you much happier when you're doing those quilts. I'll see you next time here at After Hours. Bye.